Welcome back to Wasteland Fatigue Weekly.
You ready for this week's deep dive?
You know, I am.
I think it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a fun one because it is all thanks to the Fatigue Force.
Always.
And they delivered again.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of interesting stuff.
We do.
A lot of funny stuff.
It's a good mix.
Yeah, it's like a grab bag.
Yeah.
Fun player interactions.
A grab bag.
Like, I never know what to expect.
It's true.
But it always seems to deliver.
It does.
So yeah.
Ready to jump in?
Let's jump in. Okay, so remember Alley 1032?
Yep.
And they were talking about the farmer perk.
Yeah.
Like, not appearing at level 75 like the wiki said.
Yeah.
Well, turns out...
The wiki lies.
Well, it's sort of. So Sheep actually explains this really well.
Okay.
And the wiki lists unlock levels.
I see.
Not guaranteed acquisition.
Oh, okay.
So once you hit level 75,
Okay.
the perk goes into a pool of possibilities for your next level up. You're not guaranteed to get it.
Oh, okay.
You just have a chance.
So it's not a guaranteed unlock.
Yeah.
It's just like it becomes available.
Yeah, it's like
Gotcha.
like a post-apocalyptic lottery for perks.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
I know, right?
It would be kind of overpowered.
Right.
If you could just pick and choose every perk.
Yeah.
Especially that early.
Exactly.
Level 75. That's...
Yeah, and you need other perks to get to that point anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
So it's like a gamble, I guess.
It is a gamble.
Every level.
But speaking of things that are, a little bit
frustrating.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
This whole conversation led to this hilarious side conversation about the mobile version of the wiki.
Okay. Yeah.
Which Alley 32 was having some trouble with.
Yeah, that's always a fun time.
Like, especially the EMBA section, and Sheep swoops in, bless their heart.
Of course they do.
And explains that it's basically just desktop site mode, pretending to be mobile friendly.
Yeah, sometimes those things just don't quite work out, do they?
I know they do.
And it's like you think it's going to be easier,
Right.
and then it's like, oh, now I have to zoom in and out
Yeah, exactly.
to try to read this tiny little text.
And then Owly Dano 32, God bless them,
Yeah.
just throws up their hands and goes, "Dog changed the topic already."
That's great.
And I was dying.
I love that.
Because I was like, oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a change of pace.
You do.
Uh-oh.
But then Sheep chimes in again.
Okay.
Bless their heart.
Of course.
And they say, unfortunately, I find it difficult to end until I have explained everything.
Wow.
That's so Sheep.
It is.
They're so thorough.
It's admirable, even if it leads to some long-winded explanations.
Right.
We all need a sheep in our lives.
We do. We need a Sheep.
To explain all the things to us.
Exactly. But speaking of the struggles,
Okay.
Rick 5
Ah,
learned a very hard lesson
what did they do?
about upgrading to that fancy motorized cart.
Oh, no.
They regretted it
Almost instantly.
almost instantly.
I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah,
The motorized cart can be a real trap
it can.
if you're not prepared for it.
Yes.
Just Savon and Arde, I think, really summed up the issue perfectly.
Oh,
They
no.
said, gasoline, you need a constant stream of it somehow. Carrying extra weight means nothing if that extra capacity is used by the fuel.
Word.
So true.
And you know it was bad?
Yeah.
When they abandoned their save
Oh, no.
and left a negative Play Store review.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a Wasteland Fatigue moment.
That is rough.
But hey,
What are you going to do?
you gotta learn. You
Yeah.
live and learn, right?
Exactly.
But before we get too deep into those survival struggles,
Okay.
can we talk about the town, literally named Town?
Oh, my God.
Literally named Town.
Yes, that's amazing.
Who comes up with this stuff?
I don't know, but I kind of love it. It's so good.
It's just like so matter of fact.
Yeah, it's so like, hey, there's a town. Oh, what's it called? Town?
Town.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's great.
So, how about question the dev sanity? I have to agree.
Yeah.
Loving Play Gamer 124 chimed in and said, literally anything else would be better.
I'm with them on that.
But it's so funny.
It is funny though.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's a good chuckle.
It is. It's a good chuckle.
Okay.
Back to the more practical matters. Loot strategies.
Okay.
So we've got a classic clash between like beginner and like end game
Okay. Yeah.
approaches here.
I'm intrigued.
Ricky 5,
Yeah.
scarred by the motorized cart debacle,
Yeah.
is all about event grinding.
Smart.
Specifically, snagging those powerful weapons
Yeah.
from the event gotcha boxes.
I mean, if you're starting out, that's a good way to go.
It is, especially if you're trying to,
Yeah.
make ends meet with like the regular resources.
Then we have Weary Joe 1. who is likely
Yeah.
further along in the game,
Okay.
emphasizing city looting
Yeah.
or camp upgrades.
It's a long game strategy.
It is a long game.
But it pays off, I think, in the end.
It does. But for newbies like Loving Play Gamer 124,
Yeah.
who just admitted that starting over is hard,
Oh, yeah.
city looting is rough.
It is.
You got heavy valuables.
Yeah.
You got rad protection costs.
So true.
Limited carrying capacity.
Yeah.
It's a lot to juggle,
It is.
especially when you're first starting out.
Especially when you're starting out. It
Yeah.
can be pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, and those anti-rad potions can only get you so far.
They do help,
But,
you know, but they're not a cure-all.
No.
Yeah.
Rick and Five even share their pro strat,
What's that?
which involves ditching the gas mask during loot runs
Oh.
and just chugging those purple bottles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Talk about hardcore.
Yeah. That's a little risky, though, isn't it?
It is. But, you know,
You got to do what you got to do, I guess.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know what's really heartwarming?
What's that?
Weary Joe 1 went and gifted Mahirayama
Oh, wow.
a mountain of supplies.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Like what kind of stuff?
Steel tools, carcasses, bullets,
Ah.
everything.
That's amazing.
I know. Who says the Wasteland
Yeah.
has to be all cutthroat competition?
Right.
Right.
It's nice to see a little bit of kindness in the wasteland.
Yeah. And then Mahirayama's reaction is priceless.
What did they say?
They said, guys, I'm rich on weapons. Hee. Thanks again, Ricky.
I love it.
So cute.
It's so cute.
It is. It is.
I love that.
And then Loving Play Gamer 124,
Yeah.
all excited about their first ever trade,
Oh.
promised, quote, evil schemes
Oh.
to repay the generosity.
I love that. A little bit of mischief in the wasteland.
Maybe we have a future Wasteland tycoon in the making.
We'll have to wait and see.
Have to wait and see. But for now, let's shift gears to a resource mystery.
Ooh, a mystery.
Okay, so Weary Joe 1
Yeah.
is scratching their head.
About what?
Where have all the brick-selling NPCs gone?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't seen them in a while either.
Right. It's like they vanished into thin air.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Dymo Sheep actually confirmed their demise.
Oh, wow.
They're gone.
That's a change.
Pointing out that bricks were, quote, always useful, just more abundant. Before,
Okay, so they were just kind of like a more common thing.
yeah, and it was like a good way to like
Yeah.
kind of, you know, boost
So
your
your building supplies.
yeah, your building supplies when you're first starting out.
Exactly.
So maybe the devs decided to shake things up a bit.
I mean,
Yeah,
it could be a rebalancing thing.
it could be.
Or maybe they're trying
Like,
to
encourage
like,
other
build-
building materials.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. And speaking of shaking things up,
Okay.
remember Loving Play Gamer 124?
Our newbie trader with a penchant for evil schemes.
That's right.
Well, they just got their hands on their first motorized cart.
Oh no, here we go again.
I know, right?
Do you think they've learned their lesson from Rick of 5?
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, well, I have a story that might make them reconsider.
Hey.
Weary Joe 1 shared this.
Okay.
So they were playing offline, got stranded with their cart, had to walk 100 kilometers
What?
back to Tula
100 kilometers.
to retrieve it.
That's dedication.
Or madness.
Or maybe a touch of wasteland badness. I don't know.
A little bit of both.
A little column A, a little column B.
Right. Well, either way, it definitely highlights the importance of planning
Yes.
your route.
Yes.
Especially when you are relying on one of those gas-guzzling vehicles.
All Christmas weapons, except for the ice crossbow, are unbreakable.
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 That's amazing.
Oh, no.
So you can just keep using them
Yeah.
without worrying about repairs.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
It is.
Especially for those tough boss fights.
Right.
You don't have to constantly be like, oh no, my weapon's gonna break.
You don't. That's awesome.
And speaking of the holiday season,
Okay.
how are players spending those precious magic balls?
That is the question.
Perks.
Perks. Yeah.
Boss battles. Boss battles for sure.
Or just hitting that slot machine
Ooh, the slot machine.
for a chance at epic loot.
It's so tempting, isn't it?
It is tempting. It's very tempting.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of debate right now
Oh yeah. What
about the saving on armor cost perk
No.
and whether it stacks with other perks.
I see.
And then there's this other thing
Yeah.
about Rudolph's varying healing amounts based on Santa level.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there are so many strategies to consider. It's enough to make your head spin.
It really is.
Right. So many choices, so little time.
I know, you gotta prioritize.
You do.
Yeah.
But before we dive into those strategic rabbit holes,
Yeah.
let's touch upon the curious case of the ice spoon.
The ice spoon. Interesting.
Is it a must-have for endgame players?
Okay.
Or just a novelty item?
Good question.
Rika 5 is singing its praises, highlighting its speed for mass ice production.
Makes sense. Ice is pretty valuable, especially if you're like...
It is, yeah, for those who value efficiency.
Right. Especially if you're like, trying to do a lot of cooking.
Yeah,
Start crafting, things like that.
Yeah.
You need a lot of ice.
You do.
So I can see why that would be appealing.
Right. And then others, like Tracker,
Okay.
are opting for the convenience of just buying it from the trader rather than grinding for it.
Makes sense.
It's a classic trade-off.
It is. Time versus resources.
Exactly.
It's the eternal struggle.
And you know what else is causing a stir?
What's that?
Those Christmas gift boxes.
Ah, yeah.
And their mysterious drop rates.
I know, everyone's trying to figure those out.
People are trying to decipher
Yeah.
the hidden logic behind those percentages.
And I don't think anyone's really cracked it yet.
No, not really.
It's like the mystery of the Wasteland.
Right, and Sheep actually said that they want to peek the source code.
I love that.
I know, right?
Just to figure it out.
I was like, you and me both, Sheep.
Yeah.
You and me both.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of see why there's some skepticism
Right.
with, the game's history.
Yes, loving PlayGamer124 even pointed that out, about the, quote, fake discounts
Yeah.
and the misleading ad percentages.
It's almost like they're making a commentary on the game itself,
Yes.
right? Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of self-aware.
Like they're aware of those, like,
yeah, that's
know,
little tricks.
the little things that,
Designed to keep you playing, keep you spending.
Yes, exactly. Almost like a meta commentary on the nature of free-to-play games,
Yeah.
right?
Like, nothing's really free.
Right.
There's always a cost somewhere,
Always a cost.
whether it's your time or your money.
Exactly. And Inchar name actually sums it up perfectly.
What'd they say?
They said, well, this may sting a bit to say, but you have seen yourself multiple of such behaviors in the game. Fake discounts, misleading ad percentages, and this.
Ooh.
It's a reminder that even in a fun,
Post-apocalyptic world,
keep your wits about you.
A healthy dose of skepticism is
Yeah.
always a good thing.
Exactly. Don't believe everything you see.
Don't believe everything you see,
Don't believe everything you see,
especially in the Wasteland.
especially in the Wasteland. Okay, so let's take a break
Okay.
from those number-crunching headaches
Okay.
and revisit Owly Diller 32's Name That City Challenge.
Oh, I love that one.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
It sparked hilarious confusion.
What was the confusion about again?
The starting city, Nickel versus Zapoliarny,
Oh, right. Depending on whether you skip the tutorial.
depending on whether you skip the tutorial.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I always forget about that.
That's funny, right?
It is funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even basic game knowledge
I know.
can be a point of debate
Yes.
sometimes.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. But it's all in good fun, though.
It is.
Right.
What?
Like, nobody's getting too upset about it.
No, they were just like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it shows the sense of community
Yeah,
that
yeah.
exists, right?
Exactly.
Even when you're, trying to stump each other with, geography trivia.
Wasteland
It's
geography.
geography. I know,
Uh-huh.
it's the best. And who can forget GNS52992's question
Oh, yeah.
about the use of rotten fish?
Oh, right. What was the verdict on that?
Ooh.
What do you do with rotten fish these days?
It turns out its former trading value is gone.
Oh, wow.
Avenger Drift had the most succinct response.
What was it?
Trash.
Ooh, burn.
I know, right?
That's got a sting. So rotten fish are officially useless now.
Pretty much.
Wow, okay. Good to know.
It's a reminder that game updates can render once valuable items obsolete.
It's true. Things change.
They do. Sometimes you just gotta adapt.
Yeah,
Or in this case, toss out those rotten fish.
right, exactly.
Speaking of things that might be considered trash,
Okay.
let's talk about the Great Rice Field debate.
Ooh, the rice field debate. That's a classic.
I know.
What sparked this one again?
Well, it all started with Alleytown 32's friend's obsession with rice.
Which, hey, I can't blame them.
Rice is life.
Especially in the wasteland.
Especially in the wasteland.
Right.
It's
a good, reliable food source.
It is.
You can grow it pretty much anywhere.
And then things escalated quickly.
Really?
Yeah. Players debating the best ways to cultivate rice.
Okay.
The optimal number of rice fields.
I mean, that's a valid question.
Right.
How many rice fields is too many rice fields?
Oh, no.
It's a philosophical question almost.
It is. And even warning each other.
About what?
About mods.
Oh, no.
Watching their off-topic chatter.
Oh, they're always watching.
I know. Mocky Reaper actually said, "We have mod been watching us."
That's spooky.
I know, right?
It's like they're always there, lurking in the shadow.
Like the Wasteland Police.
Right. The
Yeah.
Wasteland Police.
The Rice Police.
The Rice Police. Oh my gosh, I love it.
It's all fun and games
Right.
until the mods show up. But seriously, it is hilarious to see players get so passionate
Yeah.
about something as seemingly mundane as rice.
I know. But that's the beauty of the community, though, right?
Right.
Like, they can make anything interesting,
Oh, yeah.
whether it's, you know,
Like the weirdest stuff.
rotten fish or rice fields.
Yes.
It's great.
It's all good fun.
It is. It is.
Speaking of getting passionate,
Yes.
Owly 1032's list of federal crimes in DAR
Oh my God.
has to be one of my favorite things this week.
That is so good.
Right.
Counterfeiting, arson,
Bank bulgari.
which apparently means blowing up a safe.
Okay.
The whole world of
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic
Chris.
crime waiting to be explored.
Right. Like, what other crimes can we commit in this wasteland world?
I know. And Dyma Sheep's deadpan response, "I'll be reporting this to the NKVD."
Us.
It's just like, the icing on the cake.
Always keeping things in check, our Dymo sheep.
Wave.
Gotta love them.
Yeah.
But even with those federal crimes,
There's this underlying sense of camaraderie.
yes.
Right.
It's not about like actually breaking the game
Right.
or harming other players.
Yeah,
It's about finding humor in those shared points of absurdity.
exactly. It's like a way of saying, we get it, this game can be weird,
Right.
but we love it anyway.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I think before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I wanted to touch upon one more
Okay.
intriguing tidbit that caught my eye.
Okay.
Rudolph's healing power.
Oh, right.
Apparently there's some confusion
Yeah.
about how it works,
Mm-hmm.
especially in relation to Santa level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Weary Joe 1 clarified that
Yeah.
Rudolph's healing
Okay.
triggers a 3x3 area of effect smoke
Okay.
every time you kill an enemy.
Wow.
And get this, the healing amount actually increases as your Santa level goes up,
Seriously.
making it a potentially powerful tool in combat.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
But there's a catch, right?
There's a catch, yeah.
What is it?
It costs 2 action points, unlike the Amal, which only uses 1.
So it's like,
So it's a choice.
it's a choice.
Do you prioritize the lower action point cost of the Amal
Okay.
for more frequent healing?
Yeah.
Or go for the higher burst healing of Rudolph,
Mm-hmm.
especially when facing tougher enemies?
Okay.
You know, it all depends on your playstyle and the situation at hand.
It's these little details that make DAR so fascinating.
It is fascinating, though.
It is. It is.
You know, I think we've been focusing on some of the lighter aspects of
Yeah.
the DAR community this week, but
Yeah.
let's take a moment to acknowledge the other side of that coin,
Okay.
what we might call wasteland fatigue.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We all have, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Suprema Phantom Hive put it perfectly, actually.
Did they?
They said, I love this game,
Okay.
but it just drains my soul.
I get it.
And later on, they even said, the messed up part about this game is no matter how much sea shark shack and ball torture you go through, always see ourselves back at this game.
Yeah, it's like you can't stay away.
I know, right?
Even when it's like frustrating.
It's a love-hate relationship.
It is.
Right.
It is.
Like you love it, but you also hate it
It's true.
at the same time.
It's very true.
And I think that weariness
Mm.
is especially pronounced for
Yeah.
players starting fresh or coming back after a break.
Yeah, especially after a break.
You're like, you forget how hard it is.
You do.
You're like, oh yeah, I remember this game. It was fun.
It's great.
It was easy.
Yeah, and then you get back in there.
You're like, oh no, I remember why I quit.
Oh, right. This is why. Like, Loving Play Gamer 124 said, turns out starting over is hard.
It is.
No kidding.
It's rough.
The early game is brutal.
It really is. You're constantly juggling limited resources,
Yes.
fragile equipment,
Yeah.
the ever-present threat of
Yeah.
radiation and starvation.
Yeah. Those bandits, man.
The bandits.
Like, they get you every time.
Oh, they're the worst.
Like, you think you're safe, and then boom, bandits.
Yeah, they are.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like you can't escape them.
It's part of the charm, I guess.
Yeah, you got to be prepared.
You gotta be prepared. But that's where I think
Yeah.
the community support becomes so crucial.
Yes. Like whether it's sharing supplies, offering
Yeah.
advice, or just like providing a little bit of encouragement.
Right. A little pep talk.
Yeah, a little pep talk.
Yeah, we all need that sometimes.
They do. Those interactions can make all the difference for someone struggling to find their footing in the wasteland.
Exactly. Like you said earlier, starting over is hard.
It is.
So having that
Yeah.
network of support can really help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we saw that firsthand,
Yeah.
with Weary Joe 1's generosity
Mm-hmm.
towards Mahir Jama.
Oh, that's right.
And then even like loving Play Gamer 124's like lighthearted,
Yeah.
evil scheme
Right.
to repay the kindness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It shows an understanding of the importance
Yeah.
of like reciprocity and building those connections.
Right.
It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving together.
Exactly. And I think that's a really important message.
Yeah.
Especially in a game like this,
is.
where it's so easy
Yeah.
to get caught up
Yeah.
in the grind.
Yeah, the grind, the
struggle, competition.
competition, you
Yeah.
know? Like, you have to remind yourself sometimes
Right.
that there are other people
Exactly.
out there going through the same thing.
And you can help each other out.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it alone.
You don't. But let's be real. It's not all sunshine and rainbows in the wasteland.
Definitely not.
There's a healthy dose
Yeah.
of skepticism
Yeah.
and even cynicism that pops up,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to
The developers.
the developers and their decisions.
Right, yeah. Like
Yeah.
you see it in the discussions about drop rates,
Mhm.
the potentially fake discounts,
Mhm.
the removal of certain features.
Yeah, yeah.
And players are, I think, becoming more aware
Yeah.
of the game's mechanics
Yeah.
and how those mechanics might be designed
Yeah.
to encourage spending.
Yeah, it's like, almost like,
It's a tough balance,
Yeah.
right?
it is.
Like, you want to enjoy the game,
yeah.
but you also recognize its limitations.
Yes.
Perhaps even manipulations.
Yes, yeah. And that tension is reflected in the community's conversations.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sometimes they're humorous,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes cynical, but always passionate.
Always passionate, yeah.
It's like, we care about this game.
We do.
Even when it's,
Even when it drives us crazy.
driving is crazy. Exactly. Exactly.
He's like a family, I guess.
It is. It is.
You love them,
Yeah.
but they also drive you nuts sometimes.
Exactly. Exactly. But enough about the heavy stuff.
Okay.
Let's dive into something a little lighter, like weapon mechanics.
Ooh, yeah, weapon mechanics.
Ah, yes, the endless pursuit
I know, right?
of the perfect build.
Gotta have that perfect build. What were some of the weapon conversations this week?
Well, we saw some great conversations, about the AUG,
Mm-hmm.
the Garland,
Yeah.
Rudolph's healing, even the good old-fashioned handmade spear.
Classic.
I know, right?
Can't go wrong with a spear.
You can't, especially when you're first starting out.
Exactly.
Like this collective brainstorming session, right?
Yeah, I love it. Like everybody sharing their experiences, testing theories, debating the best approach
Yes. It's so cool.
for every situation.
And it's not just about raw damage, right?
Yeah.
It's about understanding
Yeah.
the nuances of
Right.
each weapon, its strengths, its weaknesses,
Mhm.
and how it fits into your overall play style.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
No. Like, remember when Solemn's 02 questioned whether the Garland
Yeah.
had the armor-piercing perk?
Whoa, that's right.
Turns out it does.
It does.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But, like, I love that question.
Yeah.
Because it reminds us, that even experienced players can benefit
Right.
from the shared knowledge of the community.
It's true.
Sometimes we make assumptions
Yeah.
or miss those crucial details.
I've been there.
Yeah, we've all been there.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. And speaking of those crucial details,
Okay.
there's that ongoing discussion about Santa perks and whether, saving on armor costs stacks with others.
Oh, right. That's a good one.
Like, it just goes to show you,
What's that?
that even seemingly established facts
Yeah.
can be subject to change
Right.
or misinterpretation.
Or people just, remembering things differently.
Yeah.
It happens. It's a testament to the evolving nature of the game.
It really is.
Wow.
Every update brings new mechanics, tweaks to old ones,
Yeah.
and players are constantly adapting and refining
Yes.
their understanding.
It's a never-ending cycle
It is.
of learning, experimentation, and collaboration.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. But sometimes,
Yeah.
that collaboration involves
Yeah.
a little friendly trolling.
Oh, of course.
Like Weary Joe 1 explained Rudolph's healing mechanic
Okay.
and then added, sucks it's a 2-pick though, unlike the ammo.
Oh, that's great.
I know. It's those little moments of humor,
I know.
that keep things interesting.
Yeah.
And it reminds us
What's that?
that even when we're talking about like complex game mechanics,
Yeah.
it's all in good fun.
Right, exactly. At the end of the day, it's just a game.
It's a game.
We're here to have fun.
Yeah. And sometimes those seemingly mundane items can spark the most heated debates.
Right.
Like the rice field.
Ah, yes, the humble rice field.
Right.
The backbone of any self-respecting
I know, right?
wasteland survivor's food supply.
It's true.
Like,
yeah.
we saw players debating the best crops to grow, the optimal number of rice fields, and even the cultural significance of rice in different regions.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It is.
How something so seemingly simple
I know.
can become such a focal point
I know, right?
for discussion.
It's like a virtual potluck.
Yeah, I love it.
Right.
Everybody's bringing their own recipe to the table.
Yeah, arguing about the best way to prepare rice
Right.
for a post-apocalyptic feast.
Post-apocalyptic rice, the best kind.
I know. Thinking back on this week's deep dive,
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of ground.
We have, from perk confusion to loot strategies.
Heartwarming generosity to the great rice field debate.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. What stands out to you as the most interesting takeaway?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Right.
I think for me, it's the reminder that even in a game as seemingly straightforward as they are,
Right.
there's always more to discover,
Always.
more to discuss, and more to laugh about.
Yes.
The depth of knowledge and passion in this community never ceases to amaze me.
It's true. It really is. It's that shared passion, even for like, the little things.
The little things, yeah.
Like the rice fields.
Right.
And the proper use of rotten fish.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof. That makes this community so special.
It really does.
And I think that's what Wasteland Fatigue Weekly is all about.
Tell me more.
Embracing the grind.
Yes.
Celebrating the wins.
Love it.
And finding joy in the shared experience.
Exactly.
Even when the wasteland throws its worst at us.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay. Hit me.
What changes would you like to see in Day R?
Ooh, good question.
What would make your wasteland experience a little less fatiguing and a lot more fun?
That's what I want to know.
Share your ideas in the comments.
Yes.
We'd love to hear them.
We would. Until next time.
Yes.
Stay safe out there.
Keep those inventories stocked.
And maybe try not to commit any federal crimes.
Unless, of course,
Yeah.
it's in the name of good fun.
Right, exactly.
We'll see you in the wasteland.
See you there.